Good morning, everyone. I'm Mary Sandy, Director of the Virginia Space Grant Consortium, and I'd like to welcome all of you to our Virginia Aerospace Science and Technology Scholars closing ceremony for our second summer session. We have many special guests with us today, and I would like to recognize them. From industry, we have Joe May, founder, chairman of the board, and chief technologist, and former delegate, who will be making remarks later in the program. We also have Amanda McCormick, business analyst from the Boeing Company, a VAST sponsor, Paycor, program manager, Sierra Lobo, also a VAST sponsor, Terrence Benigno, senior vice president, corporate development for Business Integra, and Jeff Jones, also a consultant to Business Integra and one of our veteran mentors since the very beginning of our program. Kim Reed, the Office Program Manager from the Virginia Commercial Spaceflight Authority, is with us, as is Shane Combs, Director of Next Gen Partner Relations at Dynamic Aviation. From the Commonwealth of Virginia, we're pleased to have Delegate Shelley Simons, who represents Virginia's 94th House of Delegates District, and Amber Wilson, the Manager of Aviation Technology at the Virginia Department of Aviation. With the NASA Headquarters Space Grant Program Office, we have Michael Cherry, Program Analyst with Validor Inc. And from NASA Langley Research Center, in addition to our co-host, Deputy Director Dave Young, David McGowan is with us. And David is the Center Chief Engineer, and he spent an hour or so with our students early this week, sharing his career journey and his academic pathway, and giving them an overview of the center. Dawn Scheibel is with us, and she is the director of the Engineering Directorate, and they provide many of our NASA interns for the Summer Academy. Donna Lawson, Legislative Affairs Officer and a great partner for this program, and her intern this summer, Cameron Lockery, are with us, and Cameron interacted with the students this week. Today is the culmination of a wonderful journey that is taking these students, 70 altogether, as juniors and rising seniors through an in-depth learning experience based on the awe-inspiring work of NASA. The students in this class first spent December through April completing interactive learning modules that taught key science, technology, engineering, and math concepts through an exploration theme. Throughout their coursework, they were led by a master educator and interacted with NASA mentors and experts. Students who did well in the course were invited to one of three one-week typically residential summer academy experiences with a focus on designing a human mission to Mars. And you'll be hearing later from the scholars both about their mission and their experience this week. When we came to understand that NASA Langley would again be closed this summer to student programs due to the COVID-19 pandemic, my team really stepped up and worked very hard to shape a virtual experience that would incorporate all the elements of the on-site academy. And we were able to draw on last summer's experience, and we're really hoping that next summer everything will be back to normal and will be residential again. All of our partners have pitched in to make this virtual experience happen, and we're very grateful to Old Dominion University's Office of Distance Learning that has provided all the wonderful online venue and technical support for making this happen. Students are earning 5 college credits for their participation in the course and the Summer Academy, and we're also grateful to Thomas Nelson Community College as our partner for providing the academic credit and for allowing us to do it so affordably. Nearly 5,800 students from across the Commonwealth have participated in the VAST program since its inception in 2007. And our scholars consistently tell us what a difference this program makes for their personal and academic growth, as well as helping to shape their career pathways. And the external evaluation that we have done for the program confirms that impact. It's been a real pleasure to work with NASA Langley on this project. I can't say enough about the NASA and industry mentors who so generously donate their time to work with our scholars, and also the work of the master teachers and our student interns who are all former VAST participants. They're going to be recognized later in the program. The Virginia Space Grant Consortium is committed to enhancing STEM education, learning, teaching, and to encouraging students to pursue studies and careers in those fields. We really believe that real-world experiences like VAST are just the best kind of applied learning experiences. And through this program, the students have been exposed to a wide range of STEM careers while interacting with NASA's highly motivated personnel. We're committed to encouraging students from every nook and cranny of the state to participate in this program. And we really try to reach students who don't always have access to these kinds of programs. And that's one reason why we make sure that all participation costs are covered for VAST and for all of our programs. We're going to be tracking our scholars over the next few years and getting them information on future opportunities with NASA and the Virginia Space Grant Consortium. This VAST experience will also open doors for these students to participate in other NASA and consortium programs. Please stay in touch so we know about your next steps and we can keep you apprised of these upcoming opportunities that include scholarships, fellowships, internships with NASA and industry, student flight and design projects, and for those of you still in high school, our Virginia Earth Systems Science Scholars Program and Pathways Flight Academies that allow you to get 10 hours of flight training and the potential to solo plus ground school. And that's for students who are interested in becoming commercial pilots. A number of companies have generously provided their support for the VAST program this year, and you'll see them listed in the program. You'll see their logos. They are Lockheed Martin Space Systems Company, Sierra Lobo Inc., General Dynamics Information Technology, the Virginia Aerospace Business Association, the National Institute of Aerospace, and the Society of American Military Engineers. Without their support and the contributions of NASA Langley and the Commonwealth of Virginia, this program would not be possible, so I sincerely thank all of them for their contributions. The success of VAST is truly a team effort, and I would like to recognize my staff for their outstanding work. And please put your cameras on as I introduce you. Our education program manager, Rudo Kachiri, oversees this program and many of our other programs and does a wonderful job for us. So thank you, Rudo. Ian Cawthray, education program coordinator, leads the VAST program, and I really want to thank him for his hard work and leadership and really working hard to pull this together virtually. Priscilla Hill capably handles the many administrative duties that come with VAST and so many participants. And so thank you, Priscilla. And our media specialist, Ryan Carter, I hope Ryan is on, has been documenting the program in photos and video this week, and you'll see his work later in the program. And I want to thank all of the parents and probably siblings as well who sent in photos of the scholars working in their virtual mode to be incorporated into the video. So congratulations to all of our scholars for their accomplishments in undertaking and completing the VAST program. It is a rigorous program. You have been a great group of students, and I know you'll all be making a difference in our world as you move into your chosen careers. Parents, you can be very proud. It's now my pleasure to introduce our partner in the VAST program, Dave Young, Deputy Director from NASA Langley Research Center, who will bring remarks on behalf of the center.
Well, thank you, Mary. As Mary said, I'm Dave Young. I'm the Deputy Director here at NASA Langley Research Center. And on behalf of our Center Director, Clayton Turner, and everyone here at Langley, I really like to thank all of you for participating in today's event. I mean, I so look forward to participating in these events because it's sensational to see the work that is done by these scholars. And that's what we're here for today. We're here to celebrate the accomplishment of the VAST scholars. As Mary said, the Virginia Aerospace Science and Technology Scholars Program is a partnership between NASA Langley and the Virginia Space Grant Consortium. And during this week-long virtual academy, our VAST scholars have worked under the mentorship of Langley researchers, and they were guided by leaders from academia and industry. And all we did was ask them to solve a simple problem: design a human mission to Mars while doing it virtually with a team of fellow scholars that they'd never met. Nothing hard about that. I'm really looking forward to see how they did in pulling off that phenomenal feat. As Mary also mentioned, thousands of students from across the Commonwealth have participated in VAST since its inception, and it's been fantastic to watch this program flourish over the years. And that would not be possible without the support that we've had over the years from academia, from industry, and of course from our state and elected officials. We really appreciate the Commonwealth of Virginia and the Virginia General Assembly for funding the VAST program, and we're deeply grateful for our corporate partners and the business community's contributions to VAST. And of course, we're really happy about all the contributions that we've had from Virginia's colleges and universities that are also really augmenting this program. We've been phenomenally fortunate to have the steadfast support on this phenomenal program over the years. One other group I'd like to thank while I'm kicking this off is that the family and friends of the participants. Without your encouragement, without your support for these scholars, they would not be able to take advantage of this phenomenal opportunity, and it's really a great help to kickstart their careers going forward. So let me stop for a second and now transition to talking a little bit about Langley. So as our scholars have come to know over the past week, Langley has a rich history. It's been a key part of everything since the beginning of NASA. And this has been a site for just extraordinary advancements in history and innovations in human exploration, in aeronautics, Earth and space science, and the technologies behind everything in all of those missions going forward. We can watch history or we can make history. And we continue to make history as we look to the future with that same sense of excitement and that same energy that animated the work of such legends here at Langley, such as Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, Mary Jackson, and all the people that worked at Langley to accomplish those things in the past. But we're so excited now that as we're looking to the future, NASA's taken those steps to going back to the moon, and this time to stay, not just to put footprints on the moon, but to learn to live there, to work there, explore there, and understand how we go forward into the solar system and eventually on to Mars. So right now we're preparing to send the first woman and the first person of color to the surface of the moon. And that way, the entire nation, all 330 million of us here in the United States, can see themselves as a part of this key program that's pushing back the boundaries of discovery. And as we work on living on the moon and understanding the technologies we need to live and thrive there, we're going to use that experience to move forward and beyond that and going on to human exploration of Mars. And hopefully during this past year, it's been such a trying year with the pandemic, but hopefully you're able to see the tremendous success we had in robotic exploration of Mars with the Perseverance rover, with the Ingenuity helicopter on Mars, and that's just a prelude to the future of exploration. And Langley's going to play a vital role in that. As always, we help lead the concepts, lead the materials, lead the technology that we need to do these pioneering missions in space. And at the same time, we're using that same expertise, that same skills to not only work in the realm of exploration, but also advancing safe aviation here on Earth, and also deepening our understanding of the solar system, and in particular, our favorite planet, and the planet on which we all live, Earth. So right now, I'd like to just show a video that kind of captures that spirit of discovery and inclusion that we have here at Langley. So can you play the video, please? Well, I hope you find that as inspiring as I do. And you saw some technology in there, and you saw some of the great things that we're working on. But the main thing you should have seen was the people. I mean, together we explore, together we discover. And that really is sort of the focus of this vast program. So speaking to the scholars, I've heard that over the past week, what you've done is you've manipulated data, you've looked at variables, you've simulated designs and surface operations for a human mission to Mars. And hopefully during that time, you've gained an appreciation of the challenges that we have for getting to, living in, and working in space, and also that appreciation of why it's vital to communicate what you do, for the world at large. And also that understanding that key element, as we saw in that video, it's all about the people and it's all about teaming, because nothing that we do here at NASA is done by a single person. It's done by bringing in that diverse group of people with all the skills you need in order to achieve those amazing goals of what we do, and then give that back to the public, in terms of technology, discovery, and inspiration. So once again, all this took place virtually. So thank you for making that happen to everybody, the master teachers, the mentors, and everything that helped the students. And thank you for the students for participating. It's a phenomenal partnership, and it's inspiring to see what we can do when we all work together. And with that, we're going to turn it over to hear from the scholars. And we're going to first hear from the Consortium Education Programs Manager, Rudo Kashiri. So, Rudo?
Thank you, Dave, and welcome. Good morning, special guests. Good morning to parents, families, and friends who are with us today. And also good morning to master teachers, interns, and of course, our scholars. This is our second year of virtual academies. We kind of feel like we now know how to do this really well. It is also our second week of VAS. We had a great week, and we want to thank ODU Center of Distance Learning. We really could not have done this without them. Christian and your team, thank you so much. What they did is they created some rooms for the students that can mirror the workrooms when we were at NASA Langley. So that was really helpful. It helped us be able to be in the different teams and work the way we're supposed to. And then a special thanks to NASA Center Leadership. You always send us great people to talk to students. This week we had Dave McGowan. He did a great job with students, had a lot of questions, great questions, and he answered them. And he was able to welcome the students just like we would if we had been at NASA Langley. We also were trying to mirror the summer academy to the residential academy. So we tried to include as much of NASA Langley as we could. So we started with the tours that we always take at NASA Langley. Special thanks to the gantry team. We had a gantry tour with Robin Hardy, who led us to tours. Students got a chance to see what they do. And also the fabrication technology development branch. Special thanks to Nancy Holloway's team. We had Jake Terry and Sam James. They did a great job. Students were talking about it even after the tour, that they were very interested. Another special thanks to Donna Lawson's intern, Cameron. She came and talked to one of our groups, letting them know about legislative affairs and how that works at NASA. And also they were able to incorporate it in their presentations. And we also had an astronaut this week, and students are probably going to be telling you a lot about it. We have an astronaut that talks about his story. Students absolutely love hearing from them. And also we have special mentors that were there a lot. I want to thank Jeff Jordan for being there, working with our assistant managers and also working with the teams. He really helped the assistant managers to show them what it is to be a leader, and they were able to go back and do that with their teams. And then special thanks to our Jeff Jones, who also always knows how to put the students in check and work with them, making sure he pulls out all the information that they need for their presentations. And we also had a special guest this week. We had former delegate Joe May, who did a great job, always showing students other things that are happening besides what's going on at NASA. So as you can see, this was a fun, action-filled week. Students had a lot to do and a lot to hear from. Also, special thanks to parents. we asked you on Saturday to send us videos and photos so that we can have, we can complete the story for our video that you're going to see at the end of the presentation today. So thank you so much for everybody who sent pictures and videos. You're going to see them. And also you will get a copy of the video at the end of the summer once we're done with all the academies. So look for them sometime in late August. And for scholars, you all did a great job yesterday at the panel, and I'm hoping some parents got a chance to see that. And before we go any further, your scholars, you could not have done that without your master teachers. So I want you to go and reach out for those emojis. Let's give the master teachers a big thank you. Let me see that coming from you. Okay, thank you so much, master teachers and interns, I should say. You guys put together a great presentation. You parents, if you missed that, you're also going to get a link to the presentation at the end of the summer. Students did a great job. This week, they learned how to do a professional presentation. And also, they answered complex questions. This week, they were pretty tough. The panel was pretty hard on those students, but they were able to answer those questions. They also learned new vocabulary. When they go back to their schools, they can talk to their friends and say, hey, this is what I did this summer. And a big thanks to Jeff Jordan teaching them about the upside down triangle, where the students learned how to start with a big idea and then pinpointing it to focus on certain points and details. And they did exactly what they were told to do. So this week, students, you learned how to work on a large project, and you did a great job with that. Now, we also learned a lot of other skills. Like I said in the beginning on Saturday, we were not going to be teaching you how to be smart. You guys are already smart. But this week, we were able to teach you those critical skills that you found out that most of the people that were talking to you this week were emphasizing as well. You learned about communication. You really had to communicate to be able to pull off this project. You had 5 teams, and it's not very easy for 70 students to agree on something, but you guys were able to do that. So you did find out this week that teamwork is very important, and you learned about responsibility. You were assigned a project, and you were supposed to be in certain places, have meetings, be to the academy on time, and also found out that there was a charge for those who are late, and everybody did a great job. You were able to do what you're supposed to do, keeping your deadlines. In the end, everything just worked out. You also were making critical decisions. We had to bring the astronauts back alive, and y'all did a great job with that. Networking is a big thing. And scholars, when you look in the program, you're going to see a list of everybody that we work with this week. Some were there last week and are going to be there third week. So take advantage of looking at the program. Check out who you know on that list and who you might want to get in touch with in the future. We hope that this week opened up opportunities for you for career opportunities. You heard from a lot of our mentors on Thursday. So hopefully opened up some of those opportunities and also your connections and friendships. We also heard from the panel. Remember, one of our panel members actually asking somebody to call them and if they needed a job. So you know how these things go. So do not forget to follow up with those kind of things. So I want you to take time to reflect on this week. I know a lot happened this week. Now, what I do is I take notes, and it might be a good idea to write them in your fast notebook manual, so you will have your notes next to what happened this week. We also want you to come back and join us in other programs. We have Earth System Science coming up next year. If you did not take it this year, please join us for that one. And we're hoping this time we'll be at NASA Langley, and then you get a chance to be at NASA. Now, those of you who are going off to college, we want you to join us as interns next year. Remember to reach out to us in January. Let us know where you are, what you're doing, if your emails change, because we're going to try to keep up with you. When you become mentors, just like you saw some of the alumni show up at Thursday, we want you to come back and talk to the student during that time. Now, I would like to leave you guys with the words from Roger Crouch. Remember, he said, this is the end of the beginning. Continue to work hard, continue to stay in touch, and look out for opportunities. And also you learn that some opportunities you might get is not something that you like, but you might find out that you will be able to get further just by those opportunities as well. And also students, I know y'all could not have done this without your parents. And once again, we're gonna do emoji thank yous to our parents for giving you guys the opportunity. So reach out for the clapping hands, everybody. Thank you, parents, for giving these students an opportunity to come and do this. I know they did really get a lot out of this week. Another special thanks to Mary Sandy, our director, for trusting our team with this project and also allowing us to be as creative as we can and run over the project, make sure that everybody has a good week. Another special thanks to Priscilla. I know everybody got a shirt. Y'all looked really nice Thursday with your shirt. Priscilla ran around to the post office carrying your shirts, and I know the postmaster knows it really well. I don't know how many people take over 300 packages to the post office at a time. So thank you so much, Priscilla, for doing that for us. She also sent the families agendas so you can put it on the refrigerator so you can keep up with what was going on. So thank you for that. And then also thank you to Ian for running the program. You always make it easy. You always have a way of making whatever I ask come look easy. So thank you so much for doing that. And I think the students put together a really, really good project this year that we need to be thankful for. And also I'm going to thank Ryan for the video that you guys are going to see at the end of the presentation. So Ian is going to share I'm going to let you come up and talk about your team and showcase what the students worked on this week.
So thank you, Rudo. I just want to say absolute thanks for the introduction, and also thank you to all the students just for all the hard work you put in, both since Saturday, but also really since November. So, it has paid off, and I hope you all are kind of realizing that. So the first thing I want to do, as we're doing a lot of thanks, is thank the rest of the team. I know we're hearing thanks to the team, and this whole project starts as its own team. We have the students work in teams, but we're a team ourselves. So I do want to thank Rudo, Ryan, and Priscilla just for helping put all the rest of the sides of this program together. It wouldn't be possible without everyone doing their part with all of this. So, and again, as noted, you will see the week experience video put together by Ryan toward the after the students have presented their aspects. So thank you. But we have to put together more than just our staff. So when we have the program, we also need to make sure that we think academically, as this academy is looking both academically and professionally. So the first aspects of the team we put together is hiring master teachers to cover the different sides of every team to make sure we're looking at the growth of the students and kind of assessing, day by day to make sure they're getting done what they need to get done, but also that they're growing as they think about what they're doing. So I want to thank each of the teachers. If each of you could just briefly come on and just say where you work and then introduce yourself, just the real quick version, real quick. So Linda.
Hi, my name is Linda Spangler. I am a physics teacher at Ocean Lakes High School in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and Ocean Lakes is also the home of a math and science academy. It's been a great week.
Great.
Hello, I'm Greg Dorsey. I teach physics at Chesapeake Bay Governor School out of Warsaw, Virginia, and Gloucester, Virginia, also through Rappahannock Community College.
Megan?
Hi, I'm Megan Clark. I teach earth science and environmental science at Spotsylvania High School in Spotsylvania County, Virginia.
Deborah?
Hi, I'm Deborah Hamilton. I teach chemistry for Southside Virginia Community College. I'm hired from the School of Southside Virginia. We're located in Keysville, Virginia.
Heather?
Hi, I'm Heather LaBelle. I teach biology at Spotsylvania High School in Spotsylvania, Virginia.
Thank you again to the teachers. Each of these teachers did work online with the students, and a number of them had students, whether they were on their team this week or not, that they graded from November through April that are here this week. So thank you very much for all your great help this week. So the next part of the team is the undergraduate interns. As noted earlier, all of these students were students with the program, and now they've gone on to their academic careers at college. So they have returned to the program and have given a lot to what we're doing. So I want to make sure that each one of them can just come up very briefly and say where they attend school. So Zach.
Hi, I'm Zach Eticola, and I'm attending John Tyler.
Caleb. Let's see if Caleb is having trouble getting on. He's here, but let's go to Christine.
Hi, I'm Christine Fernandez in Virginia, and I'm a second year at Hopkins.
Reed.
I'm Reed George, and I attend Virginia Tech, and I'm going into my junior year.
Katie Marie.
I'm Katie Marie Paula. I'm going into my junior year as well, and I attend the University of Notre Dame.
Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel Kwan, and I'm going to be a sophomore at Virginia Tech.
Gabrielle.
Hi, my name is Gabrielle Rinmoser, and I'm going to be a sophomore at William & Mary.
Adam.
Hello, everybody. I'm Adam, and I'm a rising junior at Virginia Tech.
Abby.
Hello, I'm Abby Thompson, and I'm going to be a sophomore at Randolph-Macon College.
Darren.
Good morning. I'm a rising third year going to UVA, and I'm Darren.
And thank you all again. Please do note, every one of these students was a VAST student, and you see their respective years. So, and as noted a number of times prior, we will be in contact because you are the pool of students we want to be interns. And I see that Caleb just signed back online. Caleb, can you get on to introduce yourself real quick?
Hey, I'm Caleb Felton. I'm a senior at Carnegie Mellon University, and I major in statistics, and I'm on strategic communications.
Great. Thank you very much. Just in time. So what we'd like to do now is represent the mission that the students designed. Now, what you do need to understand, that I know a number of parents and family members were online yesterday. So if you were there, you know that it took 2.5 hours to present the entirety of the mission. So what we are going to see is that each team is going to be represented by their system manager, who is going to show a very short, very abbreviated version of that team's aspect of this mission. So this is going to unfortunately, remove a number of things that were worked on, by certain team members. So we are going to thank each of the teams in full before the system manager goes into the details of the mission. But we do want you to see the basic version of what each team created for this week. So if we can start with mission integration, Anthony, if you want to come online.
Hello, I'm Anthony. I'm the systems manager for mission integration. My job is to make sure we collaborate with the other teams effectively and to make sure my team has everything they need to do their jobs. Before I begin, I just want to thank my absolutely amazing team. You can see all their names here right now. I want to thank them for all the efforts they put forward to make this project possible. I also want to give a big thank you to our master teacher and to our interns, George and Gabrielle, for all their help. It's been an absolutely amazing experience working side by side by everyone, and I'll never forget the time I spent with every single one of you. Thank you all once again. Our mission is a sample return mission that would see a crew of astronauts venture to the surface of Mars, where they would establish a base, conduct various scientific investigations, and finally, return to Earth with scientific samples. Our mission would aim to fulfill MEPAG Goal 1, determining if Mars ever supported life, MEPAG Goal 2, understanding the geological origin and evolution of Mars, and MEPAG Goal 4, preparing Mars for human exploration. Our mission would require that our crew stays alive during their stay at Mars, conducts planned experiments, establishes communications to Earth, and gathers requested scientific samples for retrieval and examination. Our mission requires that our crew stays alive during their voyages to and from Mars, successfully lands and returns from Mars, and establishes communications with Earth during their trips. Our mission users include NASA, an international partner, a commercial partner, academia, and researchers. Next slide, please. Our mission would begin in 2040 and end in 2046. There will be a total of 15 launches. 12 of these launches will be used to set up the Mars habitats, our communication systems, and construct our crew transit vehicle in low Earth orbit. In 2043, 2 starships containing crew, cargo, and fuel will intercept the crew transit vehicle and begin transit to Mars. The crew will arrive on Mars in August of 2044, where they will begin a 15-month surface stay until 2045. After that, they will rejoin the crew transit vehicle in Mars orbit and will begin transit back to Earth. A rocket will intercept the transit vehicle, and the mission will end with the crew returning to Earth by August of 2046. Next slide, please. The space laws and policies applicable here are the Articles of Outer Space Treaty and the National Space Policy of the United States, which we will follow. Of note here is the National Space Policy of the United States, which state that all U.S. government payloads shall be launched on U.S. manufactured vehicles unless specifically exempted. For this mission, we are a part of this exemption. Next slide, please. Our international partner will be JAXA, the Japanese Space Agency. This provides access to Japan's rover technology in exchange for 1 launch in Japan and 1 JAXA astronaut on our crew team. This rover, with an estimated cruising range of more than 10,000 kilometers, will allow for a broader exploration of the surface of Mars. Next slide, please. We also selected the University Rover Precursor mission to work with Caltech and Jet Propulsion Laboratory. This is a university-led effort for a completely funded rover mission to predetermine the scientific value of regolith, also known as Martian soil, and will ensure sample return in the case of crewed mission failure. Next slide, please. For our crew demographics, there are a total of 6 crew members, composed of at least 2 U.S. citizens, at least 1 international partner, at least 1 commercial partner, and at least 2 women and 2 men. All crew must have STEM degrees and must have completed astronaut candidate basic training. All must have spent between 6 and 30 months in space beforehand. Next slide, please. The crew will consist of a captain, a geologist, a mechanical engineer, a biochemist, and 2 botanists. The captain will be pilot and head of communication. The geologist will be responsible for analyzing Martian land. The mechanical engineer will operate sortie technology and will fix hardware and software issues. The biochemist is in charge of all lab analysis. And finally, there are 2 botanists, one who is cross-trained in astrobiology and the other who is a certified physician's assistant. Together, they are in charge of all plant-based experimentation. Next slide, please. Our communication system is a highly utilized Mars Activity Network, HUMAN for short. This will consist of 20 satellites, 18 pre-existing, and 2 new satellites. The system would also use telemetry Ka bands and an optical system on top of this. Using both frequencies allows for the base to return data through the Ka band and video or live stream through the optical. Next slide, please. Finally, we have the concern of cybersecurity. The biggest cyber threats to human are spoofing, replay attacks, jamming, and eavesdropping. Human will be protected with encryption software. Command function during surface stay and transit to Mars will be protected using an intrusion detection system. The threats to data storage are data deletion, loss, and theft. Due to the nature of this system, we will rely on the encryption already present in the drive. That's about it for mission integration. Thank you for your time.
Okay, Josie's up next.
Hi, I'm the Systems Manager for Science and Surface Operations, but before I begin this presentation, I would like to give a massive thanks to my Science and Surface Operations team. They have put their blood, sweat, and tears into their work this week, and I could not be more proud of them. I value each and every one of them and their hard work and dedication. I could not ask for a better group of teammates to have worked with on this mission design with, and for a better group of friends. I would also like to give a big thank you to the other teams and their system managers for their diligent work and cooperation this week. Next slide. Our mission is defined by 3 MAPAG goals. The first is to determine if Mars ever supported life. The second is to understand the origin and evolution of Mars as a geologic system. And the third is to prepare for human exploration. Next slide. In total, 11 experiments will be conducted on the surface. For the first goal, we will attempt to adapt certain plants to Martian soil. We will scan for and research fossils, sample volcanic regions for biologic compounds, and record seismic patterns to map Mars' interior. For the second goal, researchers will investigate how water has shaped Mars, examine sediment deposits, and search for geologic biosignatures. For the third goal, Martian materials will be analyzed for resilience and efficiency, and researchers will characterize the qualities and uses of Martian ice water. Next slide. Our exploration site is known as Hellas Plantatia. The reason for picking this site is that it meets the MAPAG science goals that we have set for this mission. The site has the highest scientific yield for our experiments and is the safest site for exploration. Next slide, please. All of the sample collection sites were chosen within a distance of about 100 kilometers from the landing site and habitat. These sites were picked based on their mineral sources, the nearby presence of water, and geologic viability. Next slide, please. The surface vehicles used are SEVs, or Surface Exploration Vehicles. We chose these vehicles because of their safety, reliability, and speed. The SEVs are capable of transporting crew, drills, and samples to and from the habitat and sample collection locations, as well as transporting the crew to the habitat location from the landing site. Next slide, please. This is the mission's laboratory design concept, which will be attached to the main habitat. The lab has 5 components: the geoscience workstation, telerobotics workstation, maintenance workstation, greenhouse, and suit lock. Next slide, please. In order to receive the largest amount of samples possible, the sample collection will be done both autonomously by rovers and manually by the human exploration team. The rovers will be focusing on collecting geologic samples of interest, while humans will be focusing on collecting delicate samples. At the sites, we plan to collect up to 200 kilograms of samples at each location, which will then be sent back to Earth to be observed with more delicate equipment. Next slide, please. Many samples can be stored inside specially designed sample tubes that allow for the safe transport of the samples anywhere the crew needs to go. The sample tubes are built to survive the return back to Earth. Larger samples can be housed in multi-purpose boxes. They can also be modified to have a tube rack to hold multiple samples and safely transport them. Next slide, please. The main reason for contamination control is to protect the sensitive scientific instruments used during the mission and to maintain scientific integrity when searching for potential life forms. Because the goal of this mission is to see if Mars had or can currently support life, accidentally bringing microbes from Earth to Mars could invalidate scientific results. Similarly, improper control of any microbes from Mars could pose a potential danger to Earth. This concludes the Science and Surface Operations presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Science and Surface Stops. So now, Elliot from Mission Transit.
All right, hello, my name is Elliot Evans, and I have had the opportunity to serve as the System Manager for Mission Transit. I'd like to thank all of my team for their hard work this week, especially for keeping track of all little details I couldn't, and for being patient with me when I couldn't understand what they were, how this fit into the bigger picture. Next slide. Our goal for this mission was to transport the crew safely and efficiently to and from Mars, as well as bring them down to the surface in order for them to complete their activities and research. Next. Our CTV, or Crew Transit Vehicle, was constructed in low Earth orbit using a series of 9 different launches, 3 of which fueled the CTV. Next. Then the CTV exited Earth orbit and, with the crew in it, journeyed to Mars using a Hohmann transfer. Next. Upon arrival at Mars, the crew descended in the Starship and, along with the MAVs, or Mars Ascent Vehicles, in order to complete their research on the surface. Then, during using a 2-stage ascent, they joined the transit vehicle in lower Mars orbit and journeyed back to Earth, where they descended to the surface. Next. They were met with a Crew Dragon capsule, which docked with the transit vehicle. Once the crew had boarded, they journeyed back down to Earth using a parachute. Next. Our orbits and trajectories were calculated with our orbits and trajectories specialists, Sam and Joseph. All of these rockets were sent to low Earth orbit at a 600-kilometer altitude and needed a change in velocity of 9,371 meters. Next. Journeying to Mars is tricky because it requires time and extensive planning. We had to send our spacecraft so that it entered Mars orbit when Mars arrived. Then we did the same thing for Earth, entering Earth orbit at the time of Earth's arrival. Next. We used nuclear thermal propulsion systems in order to propel our rocket through space. This worked well because we could bring less fuel as it was more efficient and move the vehicle at high velocities. Next. Here's an up close of our crew transit vehicle. On the left side, we have the crew quarters and modules. This spaceship rotated to create centrifugal force to allow artificial gravity in the crew quarters. In the center, we used a truss system with solar panels to provide power and structure as well. And on the right side, we have the fuel tank and nuclear thermal engines. Next. Upon arrival on Mars, the crew descended in the Starship using a belly flop maneuver, along with the MAVs, which descended much like InSight. One opposition before the crew arrived, or about 26 months, a rover was sent in order to excavate the spot for the HAB, and this descended like unto Curiosity and Perseverance rovers. Next. Upon the mission completion, 15 months after landing, the crew would board the two Mars ascent vehicles and using a two-stage ascension would then dock with the CTV. Then, upon return to Earth using a Hohmann transfer, the Crew Dragon capsule will dock with the CTV and transport the crew back to Earth safely. This is a second diagram showing the crew transit vehicle being docked and boarded by the crew, and they will descend much like they did in the Apollo missions into the ocean. Next slide. This is our overall schematic of the entire process. I want to take a special shout out to Sunjum for putting all this together, and that concludes my presentation.
Okay, thank you to Mission Transit. So, Antonio from Human Factors.
Hello, my name is Antonio Velasquez, and I am the System Manager for Human Factors. I'm in charge of being aware of everything my team is doing and communicating information between all other teams and my team. Human Factors is responsible for maintaining the crew health and well-being for the mission duration. Before I begin, I would like to thank my team for all their hard work they put in this week, and that I'm proud of all of you for what we have come together to accomplish in such a short amount of time. Thank you so much. Next slide, please. Our mission goals and requirements are to arrive on Mars successfully and sustain a full crew through the mission, maintain crew readiness and health throughout the mission duration, establish a habitat base capable of providing safe shelter for the crew, and safely return the crew from Mars back to Earth. Next slide, please. Our concept of operations for this mission begin with a preliminary mission using a spacecraft carrying the base building rovers and materials needed to construct the base. Later in our mission timeline, a spacecraft carrying the crew will be launched and land on Mars after the transit period is completed. The crew completes the internal construction of the habitat alongside installing the supplies and internal systems. Once the habitat is completed, the crew will spend the mission duration conducting experiments and fulfilling their MEPAG goals. When the mission duration is over, the crew will board on the shuttle they used to arrive on Mars and begin the transit back to Earth. Once the transit period is over, the crew will arrive back on Mars. Next slide, please. The habitat space consists of 6 inflatable compartments. There is a central living space with a gym, bedrooms, and bathrooms split into 2, a kitchen, dining, and entertainment section, medical section, communication section, and laboratory section. There are 4 airlock hallways in between each of the 4 sections, leading from the middle living spaces to the outside. Lastly, there are ramps outside that lead to the Martian surface. Next slide, please. The Environmental Control and Life Support Systems, also known as ECLIS, is a system that allows the crew to survive on the Martian surface. The ECLIS also includes thermal pressure and humidity control systems using an active thermal control system, also known as ATCS, along with depressurization systems in order to control the pressure within the habitat. The depressurization system also assists in fire suppression if an emergency arises. Next slide, please. The in situ resource utilization, or ISRU, designs systems to produce air, fuel, and water. Some of these systems and components include air filters and compressors, as well as chemical processes like the Sabatier system to synthesize useful materials. All of these systems help protect the crew from perchlorates while processing resources from the Martian atmosphere and ice. Next slide, please. The power production systems for the habitat are the kilopower reactors using Stirling technology generators, also known as CRUSTI, and solar panels. The CRUSTI generators are able to fully power the habitat alone, but are not the sole power generation system in order to plan for failures. The solar panels will be self-dusting by placing an electrically sensitive material that can send an electric current through the material to repel dust. Next slide, please. The contamination control plan is a procedural plan that prevents, mitigates, and solves any source of contamination from us to Mars or vice versa. Some specific mitigations would be the procedure to clean the spacesuits and sample containers when returning or leaving the habitat in order to make sure not to bring any regolith into the habitat or bring any biological matter out. Next slide, please. The crew psychology plan discusses the several risks associated with a long-duration mission on Mars. Prevention and mitigation plans were implemented for these crew psychology risks. This includes mitigating astronaut loneliness, homesickness, depression, and poor sleep. Several design elements were integrated into the habitat to ensure the astronauts' mental health is considered. Next slide, please. The day in the life described the average day for an astronaut on Mars. The day was portioned into several activities, with 8 hours dedicated for SSO tasks and objectives, 2 hours for habitat maintenance, 1 hour for maintaining physical mental shape, and an hour and a half for eating, and 8 hours for sleep. There are also several breaks for the astronauts after their tasks, so the crew is not overworked. Thank you, and that is Human Factors.
Thank you, Human Factors. Now, Bryce from Strategic Communications.
Hi, my name is Bryce Coughlin, and I'm the System Manager for Strategic Communications. Before we get going with all of this, I'd like to give a big thank you to every single member of my team for all the hard work that we got together, all the things we put together this week, working on the tight schedule, everything we did. Great team. Love you guys. All right, next slide, please. So this is our mission initiative statement. In 1899, two men had a dream to create a vehicle that would shatter the influence of gravity. Less than a century later, a whole country came together to put a man on the moon. These were the achievements that framed the 20th century. Today, we frame the 21st. NASA is ecstatic to announce Sol on Mars, scientific observations to understand life on Mars, the first crewed mission to Mars that will enrich our understanding of a planet millions of miles away. Technological innovations will propel this mission into the unexplored realm of deep space. Conducting research on Mars by sending rovers was the first step in deep space exploration. Sol on Mars is the next step towards making the science fiction dream of an interplanetary human civilization into a reality. This is the future, the cornerstone for all of humanity's new endeavors into the frontier of space. Are you ready for it? Next slide, please. Our mission badge and logo name. Sorry, a second. The name of our mission, Sol on Mars, espouses a double meaning. It relates to the purpose of the mission, to find signs of life past or present on Mars. The secondary meaning is that our mission will place the first human souls on Mars. Next slide, please. So, our primary goal, above all else in this, is to maintain public interest in the mission, and our other goals are the same as SSO, to determine if Mars supported life, understand Mars as a geological system, and to prepare for human exploration. Next slide, please. So we have a couple educational outreach concepts here, but I'm going to cover the biggest, most important ones. We've got astronaut training videos that we're going to be releasing to the public, as the astronauts are going to be recorded while they train, and it's going to be like compiled and it's going to be sent out to the public. And then there's also going to be lesson plans and educational conventions for teachers who want to help bring space and the Mars missions into their classrooms. Next slide, please. So we've also got a couple public outreach concepts. I'm going to cover the biggest two. We've got a mission animation that we're going to be releasing to help get the public excited about this whole thing. It's like kind of like a movie trailer style thing. And we're also going to be doing a lot of social media outreach. We're going to be starting up social media accounts so we can get the mission and spread the word to a wider audience. Next slide, please. During the mission, we're going to be doing a lot of video outreach for astronauts. Basically, they're going to be like recorded Q&As. People are going to submit questions, then they'll answer through video and it'll be sent back to Earth. We're also going to be doing a lot of video recorded stakeholder reports, and we're going to be doing a couple other just like some experiments. Like astronauts are going to record videos of themselves doing experiments so they can help explain things to people back on Earth. We're also going to be doing letters to astronauts where people will be able to submit letters, and then after being reviewed by a NASA panel, they'll be sent to astronauts, and the astronauts will be able to reply. After the mission, we're going to have things like competitions recapping our mission, which will be artistic things that will help like remember the mission in like a beautiful light. And we're going to be doing, as you do with most space missions, we're going to be doing documentaries, films, and blooper things just to help remember. Next slide, please. We've also got a couple government relations concepts. We're going to be doing regular recorded stakeholder reports with videos from the missions, press releases, and advanced mission updates for things like Congress. We're going to be emphasizing the benefits through the creation of jobs and spin-off technologies. We're also going to keep an open communication policy with open questions, meaning that if they ask a question, we will answer it to the best of our ability. And we're going to be building relations with our sponsors and stakeholders through dinners, conferences, and more. We're also going to be, of course, we're going to be strictly following safety regulations to ensure that we don't get our hands smacked. And we're going to be keeping international relationships up because we're partnering with with JAXA for this, and we're also going to be having a Japanese astronaut on board. We're also going to be updating them. Next slide, please. This is our mission timeline. For our mission, we basically, just a light rundown, we begin in 2040 and it ends on 2046, but the crew gets on Mars in 2044. Next slide, please. And this is our science traceability matrix. This is just basically determines experiments. Now, before I go on, I just want to give a special shout out to our 3D graphics and animation specialist, Jack Rude. He's the guy who made the animation you're going to see on the next slide, right here. He worked at this by himself this entire week alone, with no help from any of us, because none of us knew how to do anything else. He's done this all by himself, and it's absolutely incredible what he's managed to do in this period of time. So, just just thank you, Jack. Thank you so much for everything you've done for us.
So thank you to all the teams for putting together such an amazing presentation for all their aspects of their mission. So now, to talk about both the experience of the week, we have asked a couple of students, one from each team, to represent what it was like going through this process. So now that you've heard about the mission, now we're going to hear about the experience in real life. So Zaki's going to go first.
Hi everyone. Is my camera and mic working properly?
We hear you. Let me see about the camera.
Here, I think it might just be loading.
You can get started with the audio.
All right. Okay. So, hi everyone. I'm Zachy. I am part of mission integration for this week's summer academy. Although you probably can't see me, although it sounds kind of odd and bizarre, I'm wearing the same shirt that I wore on the first day of the summer academy. Now, there's an actual reason for this. It's not for no reason. I did it to symbolize my personal growth throughout this summer academy. Going into this summer academy on the first day, I was really nervous and worried. I was really worried that I wasn't going to work well with my fellow scholars. I was worried that I wouldn't get enough organized research done time. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to present well in front of everyone. But now, as I'm sitting here on the last day of the summer academy, I can say with 100% confidence that thanks to my fellow scholars, to the amazing master teachers, interns, administrators, panelists, and directors, and additionally, thanks to the overall amazing organization of this summer academy, none of my worries became reality. This summer academy was an absolutely amazing experience, and from researching, sharing my ideas to presenting, it's an experience that I'll never forget. And because of that, I wanted to give a special thanks to my master teacher, Miss Hamilton, to Reed and Gabrielle, our interns, to my amazing fellow scholars on mission integration, all the panelists, the amazing people who helped make this summer academy possible, like Ms. Kashir, Mr. Cawthray, and everyone else. So thank you.
Thank you, Zachy. And your video did come on, so we have seen the shirt. So next is Jess.
Hello everyone, my name is Jessica Savage, and my role this week at the VAST Summer Academy was the Sample Return Specialist on the Science and Surface Operations team. But before I dive into describing my experiences this week, I wanted to emphasize how much being a Virginia Space Grant Consortium Scholar means to me. This is my third year within this program, and I've had the privilege of participating in the Virginia Space Coast Scholars and Virginia Earth System Scholars Summer Academies, therefore making the Virginia Space Grant Consortium a large part of my high school career. After completing 3 semesters worth of challenging modules and writing those rigorous technical papers, I can really attest to these programs doing a great job of expanding my knowledge of STEM. Working with high schoolers all over Virginia also really taught me valuable presentation, communication, and teamwork skills, along with friendships I still hold to this day. With this in mind, VAST is an extraordinary program that educates students and familiarizes them with aerospace exploration. Not only do I get to brag about it on my resume and receive free college credit, this program has genuinely impacted my goals for the future. Throughout VAST, students have the opportunity to communicate and work directly with numerous teachers and NASA professionals. In addition, we have the privilege of learning about all the missions and projects NASA has in store. I would have never thought I wanted to work in the aerospace industry before this program. However, after finding out about potential hiring and internship opportunities from being a scholar, I really hope I can become a part of NASA's next generation of STEM careers. In conclusion, I have a new lifelong passion for becoming a successful engineer. I'll be attending Virginia Tech School of Engineering in the fall, and I'm so thankful I've had the opportunity to network with these mentors who will give me an advantage in the process of achieving this dream. I would highly recommend this program to anyone, and the little sophomore Jess who first joined the Space Grant Consortium would have never known she would have turned into a passionate and intelligent scholar who is on her way to becoming a successful woman in STEM. Thank you.
Thank you, Jess. Hannah is up next.
Hello, I'm Hannah, and I'm a member of the transit team. I really enjoyed participating in VAST this year. I'm humbled to be a part of this amazing program and the opportunities it has provided. I have learned valuable lessons I will carry with me into my future in aerospace engineering. One of my favorite parts of VAST was hearing from the experienced and skilled working aerospace professionals. I have taken their advice to heart and am very grateful for the information they shared. I enjoyed hearing astronaut Dr. Crouch's perspective and sharing personal insights, specifically his persistence in pursuing his goal to become an astronaut. This, along with other experts, helped me to better understand the reality of working in the aerospace industry. I'm thankful for the dedication and time given by our instructors to invest their knowledge in us. While working on the transit team, I really enjoyed collaborating and getting to know my teammates. We worked very closely with each other and formed a connection almost immediately. Some of my favorite parts were collaborating, researching, but also sharing and laughing, which was facilitated by Mr. Dorsey's funny jokes. I'm thankful for the opportunity to serve on the transit team and will miss the time spent with my teammates. I cannot express how thankful I am for VAS in this summer academy. When I was really little, I remember tracking planets and constellations with my dad. I was fascinated with space, flight, travel, craft design, everything. I'm thankful for this experience has brought me and all the students here closer to those planets and constellations. As we part our ways, we will miss our teams, hearing the advice of experts and the unique experience VAS offered. I am truly honored to have taken part of this program, and I'm thankful to be one step closer as we all reach for the stars.
Thank you, Hannah. Jessica is up next.
Hello, my name is Jessica, and I'm the Power Budget Analyst for Human Factors. I'm in charge of designing the power production systems for the habitat and ensuring the production is adequate enough to operate each system. The VAST Summer Academy has been one of my favorite weeks ever. I learned more in a week than I have in all 4 years of my high school. I improved my presentation production skills and my presentation giving skills tremendously. Every day, my teammates would bounce from breakout room to breakout room asking questions. Some I had answers for, and some I needed to research really quickly. Some questions came from mentors that came to each team's personal meetings. One of my favorite mentors was Jeff Jones. Jeff Jones was scary because he could listen to us and then ask a single question that unraveled all of our plans. He asked the questions we didn't want to hear, but we needed to answer, and he helped me figure out where to look to understand power production systems better. Thank you, Jeff Jones, for your questions. And another favorite in the Academy was a favorite question during presentations. One question for Human Factors was, would someone bring a broom to Mars to dust off the solar panels? Everyone in my group knew we had this question covered. I had my camera on and ready before the question even finished and explained how solar panels could be self-dusting. The amount of joy I had after this question was incredible, and I even shed a few tears because I was so happy. This has been the best week ever, and my only regret is that I didn't know about these programs sooner. Thank you to my team, my interns, and Miss Spangler, my master teacher, and thank you to everyone who makes this academy possible.
Thank you, Jessica. Next is Sai.
All right, sorry, Mr. Cotter, if this goes on for a little bit. Hello, everyone. My name is Sai Ivani. I'm a rising senior at Rockridge High School in Ashburn. During the summer academy this week, I was the deputy systems manager for the strategic communications team, and this was my first time in a program like this, and it's definitely an experience I'll never forget. I really enjoyed my time at the summer academy, and it's allowed me to pick up new skills as well as enhance ones that I had. I've recently improved on my presenting public speaking skills throughout the academy when presenting progress to other deputy systems managers, as well as presenting in front of mentors in the panel yesterday. I've also been able to apply my leadership skills I've picked up from being the captain of my middle school tennis team, as well as being the concert and co-concert master of the high school orchestra. I've learned much more than I would have by myself about a field I've had interest in for a long time, and I think as a result of this program, I finalized my choice of major, aerospace engineering. If there's one thing that stood out, I think it was the bond formed between me and my teammates. I was initially really worried about a leadership role, but thanks to my teammates, all my worries washed away. I remember how on the very first day we'd argue over simple issues that can be easily resolved, but we grew and changed as a team, turning us into a well-oiled machine. There was one moment that really stood out to me among all the moments we had as a team that I feel was the highlight of the academy. Wednesday night, the day before our presentation to the panel. All of us were up and working late as final numbers were beginning to come in from other teams, and we were making last-minute changes to our infographics, press releases, etc. And I remember how Miss LaBelle, our master teacher, told us the meeting rooms were being shut down at 9. We'd have to work on our own time. The instant the meeting ended, all of us hopped onto our own Discord voice chat and continued working for another hour or so, despite us having the presentation tomorrow and people wanting to rest. The team decided to push through the night until we'd basically finalized our slides and almost all our script. And it really showed me the dedication of our team as well as the other participants as we stuck together till the end, allowing us to present high quality material to everyone. Overall, I definitely recommend this course to people I meet interested in the field of STEM because it allows them to really understand what it's like to be an engineer working at NASA, which has always been my dream since I was young, thinking about being the person that helped people land on Mars. I'd like to thank all the mentors, speakers, master teachers, interns, my team, panelists, and everyone who supported this program for allowing not just me, but everyone to have such a great experience here at the Summer Academy. Without everyone, I don't think it'd really have been the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Sai. So what we're going to show next is the experience video that our media specialist from Virginia Space Grant Consortium has put together. So this, as noted before, this video will be distributed as a link to students after the Academy. So you will get to review this and watch this again later. So for all the students that we didn't just have on to talk about their experience, we hope that this captures some of your experience this week.
Never, ever give up. You never know what doors you're going to open, and be prepared to go through it, whatever opportunities present themselves. And try, even though you may not get what you want, try.
My biggest challenge was probably working with new people. I feel like the first 2 days was just really beneficial in like meeting new people. I got to meet like really nice and fun people. So I guess the biggest challenge was like kind of seeing how our work dynamic is and how we like all like trying to get on the same page of where we all are at.
I think the first one was definitely my favorite. Like learning how they test all the equipment we do use in outer space was very interesting. And when she went into detail about the internship programs, that really got me thinking. And I even went on the website and signed up for hearing about news about those because that is really what I would like to do in the future.
The presenter who showed us Isaac, I believe that was my favorite. I liked how he came to get into that position, honestly, the most. I mean, all of their work is very special, very important, but I feel like his story to success, I kind of found that like the most grounded. I don't really know how to describe it. I sort of felt like his mindset was the best to take when it comes to your career choice, career path, opportunities.
I think Dr. Crouch made a really impactful presentation. I feel like a lot of people were able to look at him and not just from like a scientific standpoint, but also just realize he's another person, someone with dreams and aspirations. He really kind of reached out and grabbed that for people. And he was very captivating in the way that he spoke, and it was very evident that his endeavors were something that he worked at for like a really long time, and I feel like that inspired a lot of people in the crowd.
I think you students should participate in VAST because it gives you a lot of experience for stuff that you would never think you'd be doing, and you wouldn't have the experience of working with a team as well. I think that's one of the most fundamental parts of VAST is that you get the experience of working with a team and understanding how a team works in this kind of system. I think diversity actually helps us create more different ideas because everyone comes from so many different viewpoints, and it also allows people to connect on different bases and have them connect on a deeper level because they have this one goal that they're all working towards. Such as everyone on our human factors team are almost all great friends, and we've known each other for like only 4 or 5 days.
Wow, great job, scholars. You did just a wonderful job on your mission and sharing it with us, and it was great to hear about your experiences during the week. It's now my pleasure to introduce Joe May, founder, chairman of the board, and chief technologist of EIT. Joe served in the Virginia House of Delegates for 20 years. As a delegate, he was a champion for creating the Virginia Aerospace Science and Technology Scholars Program and securing the needed funding in the state budget in 2007. Without his vision and support, we would not be here today. Joe has been a wonderful partner in many of our other STEM programs as well. Besides being a very special human being, Joe is an incredibly successful inventor who holds 28 patents. He spoke with our scholars on Wednesday and shared his invention process, his career path, and offered wonderful words of wisdom to them. We're so pleased that he can be here to speak to our scholars today. Joe?
Good morning, and Mary, good morning to you. I'm really pleased to be here this morning, and that all of you are present today is a very good sign for you and for your fellow citizens. Let me tell you why. Your presence indicates that you're on the initial steps to a science and technology career, and that's very good for several reasons. First and foremost, it puts you on a track to a career which can be very satisfying and productive. I'm a technologist, and I'm fond of saying that it's one of those situations where I'd probably do technology for a hobby if I didn't make a good living from it. And equally, it gives me the opportunity to work, live and work with people whom I like and respect. That's hard to beat. I'm 84. I still work full time, and I do that because I enjoy what I do as a technologist. I hope you all have the same satisfaction in your careers to come. I guess secondly, though, America needs scientists and technologists to maintain her rightful place in world affairs. Stop and think a minute where America would be and what its level of living would be without technology and the various contributions. In fact, along that line, I had the opportunity not long ago to present an award to Benton Cerf, who was generally conceded to be the father of the internet. And let me tell you, without the internet, our lives would be dramatically different than what it is today. So I congratulate you this morning for making it through your initial steps to a STEM career. The VAST program started in 2007 when Mary Sandy, who just spoke, Lisa Rowe, who was then director of NASA Langley, and I, along with several others, held the first week-long session at NASA Langley. And I still get some laughs out of that because I was billed as an inspirational speaker, and I could only comment that if I'm an inspirational speaker, it's because the students look at me and say, if that guy can do it, I know I can. So I'm still at it. In any event, VAST has gradually grown and become a major part of the STEM community, enjoying state funding and spawning several other STEM programs, such as BLAST, Pathways for Future Engineers at Virginia Tech, and Loudon Laurel Scholarship Program. And interesting enough, each of these emerged or are related to the original VAST program, and for that, I'm grateful. Particularly, I have run into some former VAST students in the Virginia Tech program, and very, very satisfying to hear from you again. And I guess along the line of experience with VAST has been satisfying for me personally and professionally for a couple of reasons. For one thing, I see a fair number of former VAST students, both in the academic and professional worlds. I see them at Virginia Tech in the Pathways program. I see them just in a variety of places. And I must say, I get a lot of personal satisfaction out of seeing the very high level of success. One of the measures of success, which is kind of hard to quantify, is that when I go to the Loudon Education Foundation awards dinner every year, they have a catalog which lists the various honors that the students have received, the graduating students have received. And now they have started to routinely list participation in the VAST program, which frankly is no small achievement. We didn't start at that point. So I speak for everybody present today in saying congratulations to your progress to date, and we look forward to sharing future successes with you. And with that, thank you all for being a part of the program. And if you are ever by Leesburg, Virginia, the name of the company is EIT, give me a call and I'd be delighted to spend some time with you talking technology. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Joe. I would now like to share a video from Senator Mark Warner. He had hoped to be here today, could not, so he wanted to be sure to send video congratulations.
Hi, I'm Virginia Senator Mark Warner. As a fellow enthusiast for tech and innovation, it's an honor to be able to join you, at least virtually, and say a few words today. I want to begin by applauding all the Virginia Aerospace, Science, and Technology scholars on your hard work in completing your academy. As you all know, your admission into this academy was based on outstanding work you did online. That's no easy feat considering how hard it's been in a learning environment, surrounded and dealt with by COVID. As Virginia's senior senator and chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, I know how important it is for our nation to have a workforce of people that are competent in STEM. Frankly, our adversaries, even during COVID, have not taken their foot off the gas in terms of investing in new technologies, whether it be cybersecurity, whether it be 5G telecommunications, semiconductor chips, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, you name it, our adversaries are investing. And it's critically important that our country makes the same kind of investments in the research and development, in the hardware, but also in the human capital that will drive the economy of the future, but also protect our nation. Matter of fact, as somebody who's also very interested in space, I know that a lot of the innovation that went into your academy will help our country make sure that we put a man or woman on Mars as soon as technically feasible. I can't commend you all enough for your skill, determination, and hard work. It will pay off. Thanks again, and congratulations.
And we also have greetings via video from Congressman Rob Whitman.
Well, hello, scholars. Again, congratulations on all of your efforts that you have put into the Virginia Space Grant Consortium's Aerospace, Science, and Technology program. The online learning, the virtual opportunities that you have had in learning realm, even in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic, I think have been an extraordinary opportunity. And remember, this is a two-way street. So not only do you learn in this process, but what you do in that process also helps those individuals that are involved in aerospace science and technology, both at NASA and across the United States. So you have made a significant contribution there. Want to thank you for all of your efforts. Want to also encourage those that are going to be part of the Summer Science Academy. That's a great experience. I've had the opportunity to go by NASA and speak to the Summer Science Academy scholars, and the experience that you will have there in person. Those things are incredible. I know your experience online and virtually has been incredible too. So I want to thank you for those efforts. I want to congratulate you. It's a real honor to be part of that program. Want to encourage you to continue within that realm of aerospace science and technology. It is indeed critically important for our nation. It's an exciting field. So please continue to take what you've learned and build upon that. I know that there will be even more exciting opportunities for you in the future. So again, congratulations and thank you. I wish each of you God's continued blessings. May God bless our great Commonwealth of Virginia. May God bless our United States of America.
Okay, we will now have some closing remarks from Dave Young.
I am. Thanks, Mary. And hey, thanks to Joe May, to Senator Warner, and Congressman Whitman for those inspiring remarks for our scholars. I mean, as you can see, this program and its scholars have tremendous support from our elected officials and industry partners. And why? Because you're the future. And based on what I have seen from these presentations, the future looks very bright. I mean, what great presentations. I love the mission name of Soul on Mars, and I'm really looking forward to hearing that theme song. So congratulations. I can tell this was a challenging week for y'all, but hopefully it was a rewarding one too. And I'd like to point out that the virtual work that you did this week very much mirrors what we've been doing at Langley and across NASA for the past year. So you got real life experience of putting together such a complex system, you know, in a tough virtual environment, but you're up to the challenge. I mean, I really hope that everyone can see that how complex and thorough this design had to be. And I really hope that you all can see that the other challenge is making sure that we pay attention to the development of the people and the teaming, because it's those diverse perspectives, that diverse background, that diverse experiences is what makes a team to solve these hard challenges. Here at Langley, we know diversity, inclusion fuels innovation, and we depend on that fresh thinking so we can once again put together a team to meet these challenges that you studied. I mean, I made a couple of notes here. Listening to the speakers, I always love hearing the experience talks from the scholars. I heard Zaki talking about personal growth, his own personal growth, but he was able to do that because of the support of his team, the support of the mentors, and that's part of what teaming is about. I heard Jess and Hannah both talking about how working in this program helped them decide, you know, on their career goals, but they also both talked about, you know, the value of teaming, the value of collaboration, sharing and laughing together, and that team building that's so necessary to accomplish these tough challenges. I heard Jessica talking about, she had a great point about the value of asking hard questions. She talked about Jeff asking hard questions. That's what diversity is all about. You can't have everybody sitting in the room nodding. You need people asking hard questions and coming in with different perspectives. And that's a real challenge. And it's something, but it pays off so well. And then Sai, I think, tied it together because he talked about developing his leadership skills, but he also talked about that, you know, having a team that had, you know, a common vision and a bond, and that generated dedication to working late in the night, and that's the kind of thing that we need going forward. So I want you to think about that going forward. What can you take from this experience as you think about your career? You can think about the what about your career choice, what field you want to go in. You can talk, I heard a lot about making an impact and having that vision, you know, so you can have those common goals. I also heard a lot about the teaming and diversity, the how we do this. So as you're thinking about your path forward, it'd be great if you all join the Langley family, the NASA family, the aerospace family. But whatever you do in going forward, think about that how, that what, and that why, and where do you find your passion? And then, because it just sounds, you all have such promise, and you'll make a contribution no matter what you choose to do. So that can really help pave the way for a better future for all of us. So once again, Thank you so much. I'm so impressed. Congratulations to you all and best of luck. So back to you, Mary.
Well, congratulations, scholars. Really, you did a wonderful job this week. You have a lot to be proud of. And we know that this group of scholars is going to accomplish great things. So we hope you'll stay in touch and we can hear about all your future accomplishments. Godspeed to all of you. This concludes our program. Thank you for participating. Our scholars are now going to return to their team rooms to spend some time with their colleagues and reminisce a bit perhaps and take their leave of each other. So thank you all for joining us.